Hey, this is Mateo Lane.
I'm Emma Willman.
And this is Inside the Closet.
Inside the Closet. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Inside the Closet. I'm Emma Willman.
I'm Mateo Lane.
Yes, and here we are, and we've got another episode for you guys. We actually get to catch up because we hadn't really talked since, I think, our last episode.
Right, so today we're going to catch up with each other. I'm still in Montreal. You performed at a casino.
Yes, I had a casino experience. Mateo's now Canadian, and he's doing lots of press.
Yeah, and then we answer some questions and talk a little bit about politics.
And
so
dating.
That's what we're going to talk about today.
There's lots of love.
And dating.
Lots of love life catching up. I may or may not have my mojo back, but you're going to have to listen to find out. Boom, what's up? So, here we are. We're recording. Hey, Mateo, how you doing?
You know, I'm exhausted.
So you were doing press. Catch me up. How was your week? Because we haven't gotten to catch up.
So things are good in Montreal. I think I live here now, and I was doing press this morning, and press for those listening or like comedians have to wake up and do like the morning shows and do radio and do all that kind of stuff.
Yep, and that's when you have to go from like 0 to 800.
I actually really enjoy it. I should send you the clip.
Yeah, please do.
Post it in the Facebook of me because like the radio show I did too. Like I don't know what happens to me that I go in and I hate the expectation that a comedian has to be like, hey, wow, good.
Do you think they still have that? I feel like after you meet, like...
to, like, make them as uncomfortable as possible.
Do you think people... It's so weird people would expect that from comedians, because I feel like it's, like, pretty well understood that comedians, like, aren't really like that. Like, they're not shock jocks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea. I think, actually, they're more nervous. Like, I think people who interview comics get nervous. Like,
oh, my God, yeah.
Like, the one guy... Like, I was on this morning show, and this guy, he was really nice. I mean, they're all really nice. And he was like, he goes, so he's like, how'd you get into comedy?
Stand-up comedy.
After singing in strip clubs, while a stripper had a tattoo that said "Never Give Up," danced after me. I thought it was time to do something else. And he goes, one thing we hear, and I go, literally, you're just going to skip over that I just said strip club, or we're just going to pretend that didn't happen. And then he starts laughing harder, and he's like, like, looked like he was going to explode.
He didn't know how to ask a question off the script.
I think that's it. I mean, I just say one radio guy was super nice.
That's good.
Just like, I don't know, it's just all like an energy thing. And then this one radio guy was very French, and his first question was, I would like to know why is it so, the ethnic show, you are Italian, because here in Quebec, if you are born in Quebec, you are Quebec. So if you are American and you are performing for the ethnic show as Italian, I don't know if I understand. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, I'm gay. Would you rather a rainbow flag behind my head? I mean, like, I'm a culturally Italian. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. I've lived that experience.
Yeah, pick the flavor, buddy.
Question I've ever heard in my life.
That was definitely a white guy, wasn't it?
Well, it was also like super French. He was like, I'm so sorry, maybe my English is not so good, and I was not trying to offend you. And like, you weren't offending me. I just thought it was a bad question.
Yeah, it's like
but we are okay. Like, like I could see the whole PR team staring at me like, oh my God, what is Mateo doing? But then,
well, you know what? You're not pandering. You're keeping it, and you're keeping it real.
We eventually found middle ground. I don't want people to think that I was just like a total nightmare, but
right.
I was just kind of, I don't know. It's such a weird position to be in, like PR. Like sometimes you get really cool people. Like I went on this one radio show. Did I tell you? And they were like, "We're gonna play Heads Up." And I was
yes.
Like, why? 7. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Heads Up. I was like, I have 10 minutes to talk to people, and you want me to describe to you what an Autochino is? Like, you're an idiot. There's
this clip of like quote unquote diva moments from morning radio, and it's actually all times where people ask like what is considered pop divas, like these really awful questions. And there's one clip where someone asked Ariana Grande, they're like, so if you had to decide between a hairbrush and makeup, what would you pick? And she was like, is that what you think women are thinking about? Like, is that what you think's going on in our brain? And he was like, well, like, you know, and then he said, so he was like, aren't you addicted to your phone? And she was like, no, I can go hours without my phone. And they're like, oh, listen to that, ladies. And she was like, and boys, like, she was just shutting them down. And it was beautiful.
I think too, like, you know, I kind of get it. Like, I like these people they're doing a show, they have their thing, they have their gig. I totally get it. They really are just nice people. But you know, when you're dealing with comedians, for such a strange, unique thing, where it's like, you know, we kind of don't like playing the game. And
right.
That's why we do comedy in the first place. So anytime you put a comedian in that situation where they have to play the game,
I kind of like playing the game.
That's why I love Jessica Kirsten, because when Jessica Kirsten goes on these morning shows, she pretends to fall asleep. Like if it's a food segment, she refuses to listen to people just shovel food in their mouth and make the mess. And it's like, that to me is comedy gold.
Yeah, her stuff is really funny. I like the game. I met Howie Mandel in a green room, and like, say what you will about comedy, he's like eked his okay comedic abilities into like a great career, and I'm all about that. So he that I relate to. So I was in a green room, and he was like, I love the business of show business, which no one ever says. And I was like, I hate it, but I know what you mean. I was like, he's like, I love networking. I was like, me too. And then people like looked at us both in horror, and I was like, and then he like went on stage and he totally like ate it, and I was like, all right, this is about right. He was a nice guy. He was in LA. He actually didn't totally eat it. Also, he was funny, but it would have been funnier if he did totally eat it. It was just at a show in LA. And he just stopped in.
He was at a restaurant when we were recording Ghost Hunt. Like we were
really
filming Ghost Hunt. He was like, yeah, he was at the restaurant, and then everyone's like, and I was like, I know who that is.
He has a distinct look.
I was walking by and he's like, what are you guys recording? And I was like, Snapchat show, which I'm sure he had no idea what that meant, because I'm sure he thought like a Snapchat show was like, you know, like everyone's 10-year-old has a Snapchat
right.
show. Like he didn't understand what we were doing. Oh, that's my favorite thing the reporter said to me. He goes, so you were here in 2014 in Montreal and launched your career. How does that feel? I'm like, yeah, I really launched my career into a studio apartment.
What did he say to that?
I laughed. I mean, he couldn't have been nicer.
Right.
And then I feel bad. That's the thing, is I leave, and then I'm like, okay, Mateo, you could have been a lot nicer, or like a team player. And then you ask the PR team, like, was I okay? And they're like, you were great. I'm
right.
Like, oh, they're not going to tell me if I was bad. They're supposed to tell me I was nice. But then I ironically, I'm like, I love doing press.
Right.
It's like, I don't think you do.
How have the shows been?
The shows have been nothing but fucking awesome.
That's great.
And actually, the comics and I have become like a little family. I don't know if you know Loizo from South Africa.
Nope.
But it's him, me, and friends. Oh, you should look at the lineup, because it's so funny. Like the first day you meet the comics, we all don't really know each other, you know? And then after like day one, we've all just become like a little family.
Yeah, it's like summer camp.
Even Orny's. Yeah, it's kind of fun. Can I ask you advice on something? And
Please.
I think you can relate to this. And also people listening, I'm sorry that this becomes so inside, but that's what this is. It's inside the closet. You're just our original concept is you're just listening into conversations.
It's inside our closet.
So I'm at JFL. If you don't know, for those of you who don't know what it is, it's the Just for Laughs Festival. It's in Montreal. It's the largest comedy festival in the world. Sorry for this noise, by the way. I'm making coffee. And I'm here way before anybody else. Like right now, it's me and like 5 comics, and like that's it. Like the festival.
The rest of
like,
Canada.
So huge, right? Yeah. So, but can I tell you? I'm reading like the list of people coming. I didn't realize this, but I think I figured it out. I think I have social anxiety, because I start to get tense and anxious when I think about all the other comics coming, and I wonder if it's because I feel like I have a responsibility to like, oh, that means I have to hang out, I have to show face, I have to like, it makes me so
Mateo, I literally couldn't relate.
It.
I couldn't relate more. Do you take anything for social anxiety?
No, I don't. I wouldn't say it gets to the point where I have to like take something, but I do know like I get that feeling where I'm like, what is that feeling? Like, why am I?
It's the expectations. I relate to it so much. It's so funny you say that, because like I feel like so rarely do I actually. like I'll talk about the people not in the business, but so rarely do I feel like like I've heard other people in it like admit that. But I get that when I did Just for Laughs and it was the New Faces, it's like you're there with this group and it's like, okay, now you guys all like hang out and become friends together. And I had one friend like before that in it, but I was kind of like, I don't want to hang out because a lot of it's fun and I love hanging out with comics, but sometimes it also feels like fake, like which I can only do for a certain amount of time. Like at the end of the day, it is still like a work thing. So I felt so much anxiety about that when I did New Faces because I was like, okay, I'm not like hanging out. And then there were a couple times where I went out to the bar and hung out with everybody, and it's like, oh, everyone gets so shit-faced. The next day, they're like, did I see you last night? And they're like, yeah, motherfucker, I hung out for like 7 hours. No one knows what the hell is going on. I had that too. I totally get that. But you can like be like,
okay, so
it's so normal, yeah. Where you're like, oh, and then there's like it's also heightened because. It's kind of like, do you get it where if it's someone's like, oh, I've got a friend, you guys would really get along, and then they like try to do a friend date with you guys, and then it's like,
Yeah. I mean, I think,
Only this seems worse.
I've kind of turned to an old curmudgeon where I'm like, I just want to do the work, and then I want to go back and play Pokemon. That's why I love The Cellar, or I love diners, or I like being in a small group of people where you can converse, but the pressure to like, talk to, and some people are good at it. Some people walk in a situation, they live. There's 100 people, they're going to talk to every single person. They're going to talk to this person and that person. And I look at it, I think, oh God, I have no confidence. I've got nothing to share, and I'm just going to sort of like.
Or if you had something to share, it's like,
and
do you want to share it? That's the other thing too.
Well, that is also a good point. But I see people like Julio Torres and Joel Caboose are coming. I'm like, that excites me because I'm like, oh my God, gays, and I'm sure we can go out, this and that. I think you just get the anxiety of like, well, do we have to plan it, and are we gonna have to like, what if they're busy, and what, and I start getting anxious again. I'm like, Mateo, you got to get your act together, girl.
Totally. Or it's like wondering, like, do other people care as much as I do? Like the amount that I'm like doing these like mental backflips. Someone told me they were like, my biggest fear used to be dying alone, but now it's whenever my phone rings, it's like, oh my God, do my friends want to hang out in real life? No. And I was like, I totally get that. Like in real life hangout, I'm getting so much anxiety. I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
It's that expectation.
I wish you were coming to Montreal.
Me too. I do too. I actually had I was at a comedy club this past weekend at a casino, and I hadn't done like really long sets in a long time. And I've done plenty of shows at casinos which have been fine. Good even. But so this one, and the people that ran the casino were awesome. But I got in Thursday, and there was a GOP convention going on at the place, which should have been fine. Okay, fine, no problem. The first show, like, right away, like, I was like, okay, this feels kind of weird. Like, but in that one was like, all right. Then Friday was okay, but I made a mistake Friday and also I had been having really good shows. So then the Friday I was kind of like, all right. But then I didn't leave the casino for 24 hours because I went to sleep Friday night, and then all day Saturday I was just in the casino, and you hear the sounds like and there's people like smoking cigarettes on there with their like air oxygen masks, and people were looking at me funny. I haven't had this many funny looks since I don't even know when. People, and then when I think someone's looking at me funny, then I start looking at them funny, and it's like a weird. The whole vibe was, and I'm like, okay, this is the group of people that's going to be looking at me funny. Like they were like trying to fit. I got sirred a bunch of times, which I like. That's like someone be, excuse me, sir. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Sorry, ma'am. And I'm like, that's okay. Do it again. Like I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. But
I think, first of all, casinos just.
I had so much fun at the one in Vegas.
Like casinos, like the gambling.
Yeah. My mental health is fragile. I can't be
in her early hundreds with her boobs pushed up, walking around like none of that. You know what I mean?
The show then the second show Saturday night was actually the worst show of my adult life. Like it was like they. And I don't know if you get this, so like we were just like not connecting. But normally, even if I'm like not connecting, I can still feel like they're like amused by me or something. Like even if someone doesn't think I'm like the brightest,
something
they're still like, oh, she's fun or something. Like there's nothing like rocking the boat here. But these people were looking at me. And there's at one point where this woman who, oh, how do you describe someone that's like brutal in the face, but like just like fucking like looked like the personification of anemia, like, but also, you know, just not good. And then at one point she was like, I don't get it, which no one has ever said to me at a show.
She says, I don't get it.
She goes, I don't get it. I said something.
What's not to get?
I said something about being gay. I said something about being gay, and then it felt weird when I mentioned it. The whole thing was just so like I was like, huh. And then afterwards, and I had like such a headache, too, just from like being in the casino the whole time. And then so afterwards, I was kind of like, wow, like that was like so interesting. And then that night, I mean, I'm not drinking, so I was kind of like. I went back and talked to the art therapist, which I'm excited to tell you about. But then I was kind of like, what do I do to comfort myself? So I was just like, okay, feeling my feelings. And then guess what I did?
Oh, you drank?
No. Oh, no. I sleep. I didn't, no, I keep saying I sleep ate. I do sleep eat, but I totally just ate a bunch of junk food and keep saying I sleep ate. This is what I ate. First, I ate some cashews. Okay, that's fine. Then I'm half asleep, and I started thinking about the chocolate almonds in the mini bar. So I get up, rip them, eat them in the bed. Fine, yum, yum, yum. Then I'm thinking about the chips. Then I eat the chips. And then I ate cookies. So I ate all those things to, like, comfort myself, you know? And I did not really feel so good. Then that's what I did. And then I go to check out the next day, and they're like, we see that there's some stuff from the mini bar. What did you have exactly? And I was like, I had whatever it says I had. And they were like, cashews? I was like, yep. And then they start like running through the list. And I'm like, okay, no reason to get personal over here. Like, just put it on the car.
Yeah.
And they're
like, listen, bitch, I made this as clear as sounds. Like, I'm trying to tell you, me saying whatever it said I had. And
yes.
Me saying I'm embarrassed about the amount I ate.
Right.
Back off.
I literally, at one point, like, when she was like saying it, she's like, we just want to make sure like this is the right stuff. And I was like, whatever it says there, it's true. Like, it's all accurate. And then she was like, okay, the 4 or 5 things. And I was like, yes, yep, put it on. And she was like, okay. And she's like, oh, usually people say they don't know what happened to the food in the mini bar. I was like, okay, well, in my case, I ate it. She was like, okay. And then that was it. But I was like, Jesus. But yeah, so you don't do anything destructive like that when you feel, like, what would you do? Like, work out? I just felt displaced.
If I did a show and it completely bombed.
Yeah, well, this was the thing with it, too. It was like, it was just like, we just weren't connecting. And then where my performance was off was like, I started swearing more than I normally would. Like, it just was so weird, but I was vindicated the next night. But yeah, I mean, truly. And it was a 45-minute set of just, oof.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. I mean, maybe with the times that I don't do well, and I kind of, the second I get off stage, just I don't think about it. Like,
yeah, you got to shake it off. I think it's because it was a longer set, and then because of the setting, I was like, oh, am I not relatable? Because, but then I was like, no, stop. Like, that just happens, and that was
why are you
like,
performing at a fucking casino in the first place? Like, why are you being booked there?
You know, I mean, a lot of people perform there. It's not a bad club at all. It was the setting. It was interesting, but it just is what it is, and you know, fine, keep it. Just keep
I
it
was
moving.
once supposed to do this like mini tour of the South. I'm sure a lot of listeners knew that they were supposed to go.
I love doing stuff in the South, actually.
No, I had to cancel last minute, but also that part of the reason because I was filming something, but part of the reason too is like, you know, it's like I would have had to drive by myself from Louisiana through Georgia to get to and I was just kind of like, and then I wasn't making money, and I was like, wait, I don't know if I'm comfortable doing this. I think I'm very fear-based.
Well, that doesn't even sound safe. Yeah, that sounds kind of like, what if the car breaks down? You're gonna have to do your straight voice, you know?
Hey, I'm in like a sundress.
Right.
I had this woman the other day. I was walking down the street, and there's a couple things. Like, after you do a show, if you see someone that did a show, just be like, good job. Or at least open with good job, or we thought you were. This woman walks up to me. I'm trying to get, in between sets, I went home, cooked chicken, and came back. And so she sees me. She doesn't even say hi, not her word, nothing. She just looks at me, and she goes, ew. And I go, yeah. And she's smoking a cigarette in one hand. Her hand is digging in her purse looking for her card, right? And she's going, I sell glasses. That's what I do. The glasses I'm wearing now are 375. There are 175 with me. I'm doing this Sunday. I don't know if you're performing, but from 7 to 9, if you come to my home, I'm selling these glasses. Mateo, you rock these glasses. You rock these glasses. And
she sounds amazing.
Thinking, I'm like, I'm going to wait for this woman to say, hi, how are you? I thought you were good. I just thought I introduced you. No. And then she starts going, and she's like, I also personally stylize very few comics, and they've rocked those glasses. And I'm still just like hostage while she's digging through her purse. She finally hands me her card, and she's like, you, Mateo, my home, Sunday. I'll see you there. I'm like, okay. And I just walk away. And right as I'm walking away, she goes, also, good job.
You know what I think? I think you have to go to her apartment and see what's going on.
Oh, absolutely not. And all Sunday we were karaokeing, and we would get on the in between songs, Francisco would get on and go, all right, everyone, and that was for our little quinceañera. She's a real woman, not like just like jokes, you know?
Right.
And because then it was so shitty. And then I would just steal the microphone and be like, there's Jello on deck 5. And like,
you got inspiration for a new character.
But I would follow her to the end of Earth, so.
Yeah, I'm so curious what other comedians she's styling or what the hell glasses she had on.
You know what? I have a question. I'm looking at our question. Can you hear me, by the way?
Yes, I can. Yep.
Okay, so I'm reading our questions we have. Should we start with some questions?
Yeah, let's get into them. I wanted to just quickly ask how stuff is on the relationship front.
Things are amazing.
Great.
And yeah, things are really good.
Okay, so we're going to take a break. We're trying a new thing. We're going to take a break. We're trying some special formatting stuff to make our show more user-friendly for first-time listeners. We're going to take a break right now, but when we get back, also this break is going to be like literally 1 nanosecond. When we get right back, I'm going to update you guys on some dating stuff on my end, and then we got a bunch of questions. We're going to get to some questions, and then someone sent in a very funny gay news thing. And did you see what happened at the Mariah Carey concert recently?
Yeah, with the gay marriage?
Yep. All right, I was going to do a teaser for it.
You think I turned gay yesterday?
Yeah, you know it. I didn't mean to insult you. All right, guys, we will be right back. And we're back. We are back after 7 years.
I just want the listeners to know that they're coming through this journey with us of figuring out how to do podcasts.
Someone said, do a break example for where you guys would have a sponsor. And we go, oh, that's, you know what that sounds like? That literally sounds like creating like a table mat, like for your potential partner, like having like setting a place for like, be like, well, someday I'm going to have someone eat dinner with me. That's what this feels like. But we're going to.
Oh my God.
So this
imagine the sadness.
So this is
tell me what's going on with our therapist.
Yeah, so this is what it is. So I updated this on Patreon, but after I ended up going on the date with the actress, they were meeting for coffee, and it was awesome. She's very beautiful and interesting, and she's also not a drinker, so it was really nice. And then I feel like my confidence is back up, and we made out, and that was really, really fun. But then I saw the art therapist that evening and met some of her friends, and it was just really, really nice. And the whole thing with her is just nice, and it makes me feel good, and I just kind of want to see where that goes. And man, I gotta tell you, this might be the best. This is, if not some of it, this is the most sexually compatible I've been with someone in a really long time. I just feel totally 100 I can be myself, and it's great.
And
it's
you'll know
so
that
fun
feeling when you are at Studio 54 and you run into the bathroom and there's, I shouldn't tell this story.
What happens in the bathroom?
That you should drink Coke. I think that's good.
Oh, it's so fun. And I'm a sexual person. And you know what I mean? I'm a sexual person. I'm freaky, and I'm the man, and I like being more dominant and telling girls what to do, and that's what it is. That's what it is. That Canadian had me all fucked up in the head because I didn't know what the hell was up or down. Also, this was funny. She was like, I don't love it when, knowing that other people know you processing our relationship. And I was like, okay, first of all, you made some great points, and there are things I am going to like keep more private. But it's also like, yeah, well, what you don't like the fact that you were like super shitty and confusing and rude to me. So then when I share that, yeah, the feedback, you just don't want that aired out. It's like punching someone in the face and being like, oh, don't talk about that because then people won't like me. It's like, yeah, well, you were shitty. You know what I mean? Like my exes that were great were great.
You need to validate. You don't need to validate any of her insecurities.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like you had that conversation about you had talking on the air and you apologized what you felt you needed to apologize, but she continued to use you, and I think that
also not if you're not my girlfriend, just back off. Like don't if you're not my girlfriend or we're not, you just get out. I mean, maybe we can be friends, but like best of luck.
No. I think she's had her chance to prove to you whether she can handle a friendship with you, and right now she can't. So you need to step away.
Right. I mean, yeah.
She's not bringing you anything good, and you have something wonderful right in front of you.
Oh my God! I like talking. So this was one thing that's hard though. Like I had morning radio today, and then I did have 2 like bar show spots last night, and then like right before I was going to go out, I got in an audition, and then I knew I was seeing art therapists. So then I ended up not doing my 2 comedy spots, but I like. The thing is I was like, now that I start dating someone, is that going to mess up career stuff? But I also needed a break because I'd been going like nonstop all weekend, and I had the audition, and then seeing her like is like recharging. It's so nice to have good sex with someone too when you like talking to them. It's great.
Can I tell you what's sticking out in my mind? And stop me if I'm being rude, but
Please.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
And I know we've explored this territory before, so I feel comfortable asking these questions. Yes. So I'm trying to be as mindful as possible. Can I ask you? How would you feel? You say you love being mistaken as a man, and you want to be to like a man.
Wait, we missed that last part.
You said when you were in Vegas that you really liked being mistaken.
When I was in Mohegan Sun, yeah.
Or Mohegan Sun.
Yeah.
Casino.
Her and I aren't doing like gender role play in the bedroom, but like pretty close to it. But like I get to be as like when I totally feel like it's not. Remember when I was talking about the girl from Boston? She's like, I like to have lesbian sex, and I was like, God damn it, it is not like lesbian sex. I feel 100% like I'm sexually expressing myself like very like guy style. But she's been with like trans guys before, so she is like great at it.
So but
we're not using strap-ons yet.
Saying that.
I mean, where I would be using the strap-on. I hope that goes without saying. Jesus Christ.
Right.
Well, then that goddamn Canadian was trying to fuck me with the strap-on, and I was so confused. I was like kind of open to it, but then thank God we didn't do that, and I'm back in action. And we have a deal because the art therapist is anemic, so I said if you take iron for 30 days, I'll fuck you with the strap-on. And she was like, I don't even want to do that.
My question.
Okay.
Emma, you're avoiding me.
Let's hear it.
So I want to know, have you given thought about being trans?
Yeah, I've thought about it before, but I wouldn't ever want to take any hormones or anything like that.
You don't have to.
No, I know. But I wouldn't want to take any hormones, and I wouldn't, I don't know, I feel like comfortable with myself how I am. You know what I mean? Which is like very like androgynous, you know? So I feel like comfortable with that, and I don't mind when people say her, call me I don't even mind when people call me a lesbian. It's just more important for like when I'm like with a partner that like that like role plays out more, where it's like much more like gender wiggly in that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like if we lived in a society where it was like men are like this and women are like this and women have to wear dresses and then I'd be like, oh my God, I have to be I have to transition and like pass as a man. But since now we're like, at least in like New York and other like moving forward with stuff like as we like kind of start to understand like gender on more of a spectrum, there's more space for there's more space for the wiggly, which is a real like, you know, privilege. Like if this was like,
oh, it's a blessing.
Oh, thank God. Space for the wiggle.
You know, my friend Pat has talked about this openly, where he said, you know, he's talked about it with his therapist and how he feels more towards the feminine side. Doesn't mean that he wants to transition, but it doesn't also mean that you know, and I think that that's kind of the beauty of where we are today, that, you know, people can really go wherever they feel is most right for them. I mean, if someone wants to fully transition, it's beautiful. If someone says, you know, I feel a little this way, a little that way, it's beautiful. I think it's just great that we've taken the idea of what it means to be a man and what it means to be a woman and just kind of broken that up into 1,000 pieces.
Yeah, it's getting remixed.
Sort of be free. Yeah, and I hope that it keeps growing that way.
Me too. And if you're out like living in some like rural area and it's like you don't see that around you, just know that it's there. And it's something that it's like hard to comprehend when you don't see role models for it. Luckily now we do on TV and stuff, but I remember like in Maine I didn't even know I didn't even know that was the thing. I had not even I definitely didn't know anyone that was transgender when I was little. Or the one person I did, it was a friend of my mom's, and it was very like they were a man and then now they are a woman and they have all the surgeries, and it was like that. And I remember then when I was in college, I said to my mom, I was like, your friend could have not had the surgery and still been a woman. And she was like, no, she's transgender. And I was like, no, I know, but like, there's like this, they could have not done that. And then we still would have called them, she's a woman still. She was like, no. And I was like, no, it doesn't come down to genitals. And she was like, I'm confused. And I was like, I know. It's like a whole thing. She was like, they were born in the wrong body and then they switched into the right body. And I was like, absolutely. But even if they hadn't done that switch, then they still would have been a woman. And she was like,
your
okay,
poor mother.
Emma.
As progressive as she's trying to be, we're still like...
Right. She's like, can I just like co-sign and be okay with it? Like, okay, it's okay. I don't know what you're talking about.
My first friend that was, open trans with me, because I'm sure lots of people in our lives who are just not open about it. I was 18. And because now I'm trying to think like all my friends who are trans and the kind of conversation that we have with each other about this topic, because we were talking about Scarlett Johansson the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Comic fan talking about that. And one comic didn't understand. He just couldn't wrap his head around it. He goes, I just don't understand why it's a problem, and if she's conveying a story, then isn't the story more important, and da-da-da, and this and that. And, we were trying to say, like, yeah, but, we're just, times have changed, and, to take roles away from trans actors who could, really convey the story because they lived through that experience. And it was weird trying to describe why it's not okay for Scarlett Johansson. I also don't think Scarlett Johansson was being malicious.
Right. Well, she's an actress taking an opportunity.
She was like, I'm going to get that Oscar. And then 2 weeks later, she's like, what have I done? So,
it's true.
I think that times have changed. You know what I mean? And it's exhausting.
And there's
sometimes
so few
people,
and there's so few opportunities for trans actors.
Yeah, there's like almost none. Do you know what I mean? In the grand scheme of things, I mean, there's barely roles for gay men, let alone trans people. So it's like we're at a time now where people are. I think the industry is confused. Like they want to create products that the public wants, but the public is saying, "Well, we're telling you what we want."
Right, and the public doesn't always know what it wants. Right.
Well, no, but this time the public's being very clear. I mean, we're saying we're sick of the old ways. We're done with the old Hollywood. Some of the public saying that, and then we've got like neo-Nazis marching down the street. So it's like the public's. Yeah, but that's also just insane people who I don't feel represent the majority of the public and the majority of thinking.
I wonder what the hell those neo-Nazis are up to now. They've kind of we haven't heard from them in a while. Thank God.
I mean, they're in their own. I listened to this piece in the New York Times, the podcast called The Daily, and they talked about how there's an entire underground system and code language, and I mean, it's more prevalent than you think, but I think in the grand scheme of things is quite small, but doesn't mean that it's still not a threat, doesn't mean that it's still not good. It's just,
Yeah, and then the internet, it's like you go online and then, the fringe groups can like really migrate to each other there.
Yeah, it's like it's a dark web. It's so crazy though. I feel like most people are so stuck in their own phones that they assume the world's worse than it is.
Yep.
And the world is pretty shitty right now for a lot of people, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, maybe things are terrible. I mean, everything with Trump yesterday and Putin and like.
What did Trump do yesterday?
So Trump had a meeting with Putin, right? Like a public meeting. And I forget
also, thank you. It's much nicer getting my news from you than the news.
Oh, well, I mean, it's not good. I mean, so basically Trump's intelligence, the American intelligence, and multiple giant corporations like Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and et cetera, they said, yes, we have proof that the Russians hacked into our system to change the election, and now people are being arrested and they're being indicted, and all this
Jesus.
crazy shit is going on. There's all this overwhelming evidence, and then in front of the entire world, standing next to Putin, who's, you know, not exactly a friend to the American public and is a man who kills people.
Right.
Trump goes, yeah, I know that. I understand that my intelligence told me that Russia had something to do with it, but, you know, Putin told me that they didn't, and I think he's a strong guy, and I believe him.
And then what did everyone else say?
The entire world lost their shit, including Republicans, because it's basically going in front of the entire world and saying, hi, I'm weak, and Putin, you know, controls me. I mean, that's basically what's happening.
God damn it. And then Putin was just like, that's
good.
right, bitch.
You know what I mean? It's just, it's a little depressing, to tell you the truth. And by a little, I mean a lot.
Well, we've got some questions to lift us up.
Yeah, on that note, let's move to questions.
Are people, when you say you're from the States, do people ask you, like, about Trump stuff in Canada, or do they kind of know better? Because I remember when I did
every radio show, we talked about it. So
really?
every radio show, sometimes I bring it up and sometimes they bring it up, but I would say he's embarrassing, he's ugly, I hate him.
You'd say he's ugly? What kind of gay would he be besides the evil kind? Like, if he were gay, what would he be?
I don't know. I have no idea. Just still a monster.
Goddamn. The monster gay. He's a monster gay. Okay, so
yeah, he did the mash.
This is
the monster mash.
Oh God, I'm gonna get that stuck in my head. Okay. So my question for you guys is, can you help me make my girlfriend's birthday? Oh yeah. Okay. So my question is, can you help me make my girlfriend's birthday special? I want to spoil her rotten, but money is a bit of an issue. That's the question.
I don't understand. Oh, we have to help plan something?
Well, she's basically saying, what ideas do you have on a budget for making a birthday special? I have good ideas.
I mean, my thing is, like, whenever you want to do something to make someone special, you have to go, like, you have to show that you really listen. So,
yup.
You know, really think about things that person that you're with has talked about that they like and they enjoy, and try and find your way there. Because it's always the thought and the intent that's more important with gifts than it is the actual gift.
Totally. I completely agree.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like, for me, a perfect gift for me, if someone was going to do, like, a gift, I don't know, for my birthday or whatever, is, like, make me, like, an authentic carbonara. Like, stuff like that. You know, and that costs, like, $20.
Right.
You know, it's not expensive to make carbonara. So, stuff like that. So I think if you, like, even if it's something as simple as, like, a meal that they love, or a movie, or, like, if there's something in your city where they have, like, date night where you can, like, go, like, watch a movie in the park, and you can bring, like, a picnic. Like, there's tons of stuff to do for free no matter where you live.
Yeah, a picnic thing is I think that's so great, too, about also, I realize we missed the date of the birthday, so happy birthday. But, sorry, we're just getting to it now. But one thing I feel like for also, like, dating on a budget, like, listening and then calling it back to someone that's when you feel like it's so recognized. But if you can do something like if you make them dinner and then just like literally like light some candles and give them like a massage, like Google like massage techniques too. And then if there's someplace they mentioned that they carry their stress, like really go in on that. And you're like, and you can combine the massage and the listening in one thing, and then fuck them.
I don't know that I've ever said this, though. I carry my stress in blank. Like, I wouldn't even know where I carry my stress.
What? I carry mine on my shoulder. Yeah, I carry mine on my shoulders. Or
because I feel like I have bad posture.
If someone doesn't know where they carry their stress, here's a trick. This is what you do. If you start rubbing, this is a trick I've done before. If I start rubbing someone's like back, I'm like, oh, you have a knot here, and everyone's always like, yeah, I do, and no one fucking knows what's going on. And then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get it out, and they're like, oh, you're so sweet. Yup. I'm like, or I'll be like, or if you just say something really confidently, like I'll be like, oh, you carry a lot of stress in your neck. They'll be like, really? I'm like, yeah, that's really. And they're like, oh, yeah, and then just rub their fucking neck and keep it moving. Tricks of the trade. Tricks of the trade. Now I'm back in action.
People.
What did you say? You have a lot of stress in your neck. But you don't say it like that. You have to massage. You pretend you're discovering it.
I carry my stress in my knees.
Oh, I can't even
and my
imagine
hips.
where you carry your stress.
I had them. I'm a dancer. I'm a dancer. I'm always a dancer.
I can't
I
even.
really.
The knots on you. I can't even imagine. But I think that that's great. The cook, massage. Yeah, and then if there's like something in your area like that, like a movie in the park type thing, is like, I think that that's super cute. But those are things that are going to make someone feel like so recognized and special, and that you took like the time in to do it. What do you think about this? I'm a big card writer. I like writing cards.
Oh, I give a shit about it.
I love cards. I like writing cards, and I
don't like them.
I like custom making them. Like I drew the art therapist a card, and then after I drew it, I was like, oh, fucking A, she's an art therapist. She's gonna like diagnose me with something when she sees it. But I was like, you know what? No, I'm not thinking of her as her job, so I just still gave her the card and was like, don't read into the front, because I just like drew a bunch of colors on it. And she was like, you're bipolar, and I was like, God damn it.
Wait, should I read the next question?
Yes, please. Please. Oh, yes, that'd be fun.
By the way, who just tried FaceTiming? Oh, my cousin Brian. Okay. My boyfriend of almost 2 years has revealed more and more how much of a right winger he really is, and it makes me sick. He's a big fan of Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson. Is always criticizing Democrats and never challenging conservatives, not even the Cheeto himself. I've made it clear that it's off-putting to me and have tried to have reasonable debates that don't end well. I feel he tries to censor his thoughts around me now, but I'm still bothered and haunted by what his beliefs are. I feel like this will eventually lead to the end of our relationship. Do you think there's any hope, or should I get out now? I actually have advice on this.
Say it again.
I have some advice on this.
Oh, great.
There's lots of couples. I mean, I know plenty of couples that can disagree politically, and I don't know that it has to rule your relationship. I mean, I think some people find it to be really important that you share the same values, and those values sometimes can be politics. So, you want to be able to sit in the same home. It's like Barbara Streisand.
Barbara Streisand's husband?
I could never marry a Republican.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I only could marry a Democrat. And I think I personally probably wouldn't want to marry someone who's Republican just because, I don't think the track record for gays has been good. But, I think...
What about a libertarian?
I mean, I think you just have to find ground rules. And if that person's important to you, you love everything else about them, then you say, look, there's a lot of things that we don't agree on. And so we have to figure out a system to not talk about it. And if you keep getting yourself angry about it, then, if that's not going to stop you, should get out of it. But I do think you can easily find a system to say, you know what, we just don't agree, and we agree that we don't agree, and then we can just kind of move on and and not discuss it.
What if, though, because, like, the way that someone feels about that is, like, so indicative of, like, the way they think about other things. That's the kink. Because it's like, if they think this about this, then they might think, like... That's why with politics, I wish I could, like, break it down to the most simple thing where I'm like, if I could just see someone in a setting that I understand, then I would vote for them because I would infer trust. Like, if I could just follow them with a video camera around for the day, going to the grocery store, going to pick up, run errands, going to a restaurant, see how they are to, like, people and if they're polite and what their mannerisms are and if they seem like an empathetic, nice person in ways that I can process, then I'd be like, okay, now I'm much more likely to trust your thoughts on fracking because I don't know how the fuck to talk about fracking or what all these other, like, political things. But, like, if it's like I trust you in this setting, I'm more likely to then go trust you in that setting. You know what I mean?
Well, I think anytime you're having a political conversation with someone, it's best to not be condescending. And I think a lot of times by having conversations by speaking with authority.
Right.
And if you're going to have a debate on anything, it should be about sharing your ideas and seeing if you can find any middle ground.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're talking to someone who's not sharing ideas and willing to listen to what you have to say, I think that's pretty indicative of the type of person they are just outside of politics. I mean, I get mad when I meet people who try and tell me that they know more about Italian food than me, and they're not Italian. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
It's like I hate. I just don't like people who speak with like authority, and it's like, yeah, like we can also just have a political debate. And I also just think sometimes people are so extreme on both sides that they're just the same people.
Oh, totally.
It's like unforgiving and mean and ruthless and all
Yep.
that stuff. And yes, obviously, we want to make change and we want the best for everybody, but we also have to listen to people. And, Gloria Steinem said it best. She said it's impossible to have a conversation with someone unless all 6 of your senses are involved.
Right.
A lot of times that's not the case, so people get heated.
Yeah, I think that's a great advice too. If someone is not willing to at least listen to you about whatever your views are, then that's gonna be indicative of how they're gonna approach other things. Nothing's totally isolated. One communication style. That's why. Yeah, that's something that's refreshing about the therapist, because she's really good about communicating, obviously. Because it'll be how do you feel? Tell me more about that. Blah, blah, blah. Feelings.
Or if you date a foreigner, then they just don't care about your country's politics. You can focus on other things.
Right.
But I think it's tough, and I think she just has to. I don't know. I don't remember. You just have to base, your relationship off your gut feeling, and if you feel like outside of politics that this is a growing issue, then you have to take that into your own hands. But
yes, we were talking.
There's a way to talk about it, and there's a way to avoid it.
Right, and then also, someone was saying to Taylor on Wake Up with or on Taylor Strecker show this morning, was saying a therapist told her for every one good thing for every one bad in a relationship, there should be 4 good. So if this is the bad with the politics, say this counts for a couple bad, it's what are the other good things that then outweigh that to make that not be the main stressor? The first thing you think of with your partner shouldn't be oh, he's a different political party. It should be oh, I love the way he does this, or I love the way he does that. But if the first thing you think of is that you guys disagree about that, then you don't want that to be your main association.
Right. And I have that, is for, on Trump's, voted for Trump and stuff like that. And it's well, yeah, of course I don't agree with them, and I think it's horrible, but, it's I'm also not going to stop my life and stop my love for that person.
Right.
That's honestly what being human is we're not going to agree on everything.
Right. Not on all things. Well, we're going to do the last question on our Patreon. So thank you guys, and thank you so much to everyone that's been subscribing to the Patreon. We really appreciate it. We're getting the hang of the formatting down, but that's always fun. It's like a secret society. And you guys can keep checking Mateo out every night in Montreal.
Yeah, and becoming more like Grandmother Willow over here, but I'm just cooped up in my hotel or my Airbnb, and I'm just sort of the world seems dark, So
Tweet it. Give him some things to do in Montreal. Let him know some activities.
Yeah, I'm doing stuff. We went and got good Italian food yesterday.
That's fun.
Today my whole schedule is fucked up because it's you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, you radio, this, that, da, da, da. You come home, you make breakfast, you sleep, you wake back up, and I'm oh, God, what happened to my day?
Yeah, it's a weird one.
We go to the gym right after this.
And then I'm going to be in Portland, Maine this Friday, Empire Comedy, and then in Portsmouth, New Hampshire this Saturday. So Friday in Portland, Maine, and then Portsmouth, New Hampshire, if you're in the Portsmouth area at the Music Hall Loft, and that's going to be a lot of fun. And thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys.